Hi, and welcome for Autonomous Agent Finalist stream. You might see a huge amount of faces now on the screen, and that's not even the half of the people that are already waiting to know the results of the hackathon. We have huge amount of team that were working over the hack that was, I would say, a week and a few days ago. So everybody is still pretty excited on that spirit of the hackathon to know the results and to hopefully continue working on their prototypes further. So let me don't take time. I really would love to introduce to you all the teams that are here today, but before that, I want to introduce the mentors and judges that were judging this whole hackathon. We have a lot of partners, and many of them are Llama Index, Super AGI, we have VV8, we had, who else? We had AutoGPT and way more. I even cannot remember all of them. OpenAI was partnered this time as well with credits. So I want to invite everybody that are on the stream now to have 1 minute welcome words. Feel free to unmute and go ahead with your welcoming so teams can get even more inspired on starting the stream. Philip, maybe you want to kick off.
Yeah, Philip from VV8, and I'm happy. Super incredible projects. It was keen to judge them. Also, not easy always because you have these edge cases and people are investing. I was surprised how much quality was in there. So it was super nice. People building with VV8, people building with Llama Index, with GPT, with Cohere, with Anthropic. So anything relevant in the AI ecosystem was part of the hackathon. So just from a feeling, and yeah. So I'm happy to see the pitches from our best projects.
Thanks for that. Silent from AutoGPT. Go ahead with your kickoff.
Hey everyone, I'm Selen from AutoGPT, working around benchmarking over there. Yeah, like Philip said, it was really interesting to see all the submissions, and I picked up a thing or two myself. I loved a lot of the ideas there. Congrats to everyone who made it to the final 6, I believe, and I'm looking forward to judging.
Thanks for that. And actually, we will have pretty shortly one full hackathon with AutoGPT, and everybody is already invited to this hackathon. So stay tuned. And today we will have a big announcement of this hack. Just a bit of advertisement during the stream. So Abhishek, Super AGI, go ahead with your kickoff then.
Hi, everyone. So yeah, I think, this was really amazing to see people building with all kinds of tech that were, out there, and also seeing the mentors from all different communities coming together and helping people in building what they wanted to build. And again, amazing projects, amazing presentations, people putting so much effort into presenting their projects well, doing quirky videos all over the place. So it was really, really nice to see the enthusiasm of people and the creativity that went into it. And this sort of gives you an overview of the whole open source AI community and how everyone is pitching in to build cool things. And this is just the start. This is the least usable level of AI tools that we have right now. So I'm just super excited for what comes in next 1 or 2 years. So yeah, cheers to everyone, and best of luck to the people who'll be pitching. We are hoping to see some great projects and great pitches here. So good luck. See you guys.
Thank you. And Yiding from Llama Index, go ahead.
Yeah, very excited to see the projects. I actually got my job at a hackathon, so I know how hard it is, and so really excited to see all the finalists.
Thanks a lot for the inspiration in the beginning.
Which hackathon? Which hackathon?
I met Jerry at the Emergency ChatGPT API hackathon, thrown back, I think in February, if I remember.
Great. Did you actually finalize the prototype over this hackathon?
Yeah, we built something for Llama Index actually.
Okay, great. Great to hear that. Let's move forward then. I don't want to take your time, guys, because I know that everybody really want to know the results. So let's just pull the presentation. So I'll share some numbers with you and also remind you about the prizes, because now it will be the time when we will basically first time announce the top 25, top 10, and then candidates for winning the hackathon. Because as you might saw the prizes in our event page that all top 25 teams, not all, but top 25 only, will got hoodies and merch from Super AGI. So that's now the moment when you will know that your team actually got in this top 25 and then top 10 teams. Max, do we have presentation already on? We should have, probably. Cool. So, talking about the hackathon, we had a huge amount of participants. I will not repeat it even because you see it is now on the screen. But what's really exciting is that we got a huge, I would say, conversion out of people that came to the hackathon, decided to build, and actually finalize this. And I guess it's mainly due to tremendous effort and help from judges and mentors over all the companies that were partners. And thank you a lot. I'm also a participant in this hackathon, and I know how hard it was to build. And when you first time building agents, and it was really helpful when we always had you near us, and we can always ask and get support straight away. So in the end of the hackathon, we got 82 ready prototypes, ready agents that are pretty task specific, and they are, some of them already wants to go further, launch into the market and start building their probably next business with these agents. Moving on to the prizes. You may see all of them on the screen now. So we'll have the top 25 teams that will got merch and hoodies from Super AGI. Then we will have top 10 teams that also got merch and Alexa, Amazon, or Fire Stick devices as a present. And then we have our finalists. So for the first place, team will got $2,000 and $500 in cash and also VV8 credits, as well merch and Amazon Alexa and Fire Stick device. Then for the second place, we'll got $1,500 in cash and as well VV8 credits. And for the third place, it's $1,000 in cash. We hope that this cash prize and also credits will be an investment into your project mainly, and will be as a boost for your idea. And it's something that with this, we just want to let you know that your idea is worth something, and we really believe that it can be next big thing in the market. Well, exciting moment. So let's take a look on top 25 projects. That's a lot of names. So again, I will not go through all of them, but I hope you saw your name now in the list. And also right after the stream, you will get a form with details. We will request you to leave us some details so we can basically send you your prize. Moving on to top 10 projects. You can take a look on the screen right now to see where you in the top 10 or not. And now let me move on to the announcement of the guys that are in the stream right now and that will be presenting their projects today in front of the judges. So here is the top 7 winners and candidates to win a final prize of the hackathon, which is Munich AI Agent, Weak AI, StoryForge, Enigma AI Agent for researchers, Evo Ninja, and renters.com. All of them will show us today their presentations, and you will be also able basically to ask questions in case you have some clarifications to the team. That's also fine. So I will be your Twitch advocate for today. Feel free to write on the Twitch chat, and I will be happy to address it to the team. Well, are you ready to kick off with the presentations? Okay, I see that nobody is that excited to get started, but I know it's nervous a bit, but let's basically kick off. So we have Munich AI Agent as a first. Now we'll take a look on their presentation, and then we'll move on to the Q&A session with judges.
A few weeks ago, I got a new task given to me by a client for a basic analysis. We already had planned out like the different analysis steps we can do, like plan out the pipeline. But when we get the data, we realize this project will be way different. The rows were duplicated, the columns were wrongly named. We had many different null values or unknown values, which all were in a different encoding. So as unknown, as null, as 0. At the same time, the categorical variables were named differently. So in the end, we had to spend like at least 1.5 weeks cleaning and tidying up data to get it into a format we could actually work with. And then we could only start the analysis. So the quality of our analysis was pretty limited because we couldn't try out the different components. We couldn't experiment as much as we wanted. And this is what we're here for in Tidy AI. Automating, creating tidy data so the data scientists can focus on the work that actually matters, to provide the insight that's necessary for the management and the client to make informed decisions. And this problem is not just us. It's very common among data scientists. It's the detriment of dirty data. Dirty data is one issue that it leads to compromised decisions. The companies risk to make expensive mistakes. At the same time, cleaning the data is very error prone. Over-cleaning leads to the loss of vital information. Under-cleaning leaves inconsistencies. And it's very time intensive. Current studies show that it takes up to 50 to 80% of the total project time. And at the same time, there are many missteps by the data scientists. And the current approach isn't really the way to go in the future. Data scientists spend hours working in sheets or notebooks where they perform a transformation and then manually review the data to check whether they did it correctly. So it's very long binding and iterative. And the available automation tools are very limited. They are non-adaptive to the data, the analysis requirement, or the business requirements. And now is the time we can actually change it. The technology is ready, the AI is getting accepted for decision making, and the technology also is at a state where we can automate this. The AI is more adaptable, and also it suddenly has planning capabilities. And at the same time, we have some economic drivers. We have a rising volumes of data, so cleaning it manually is becoming financially unsustainable, and the cost of mistaking as AI becomes a decision-making tool is also skyrocketing. So our solution is an intelligent agent that tidies your data, that sees the cleaning not as a static task, but a dynamic journey towards the tidy data. And we have three main components. First, an AI-powered planning, where we inspect the data set, pinpoint anomalies, and see the potential issues. Then an automated transformation, where the agent seamlessly executes the transformation and on the detected issues. And lastly, we have a reflection refinement, where the AI rechecks the data set and identifies the next necessary transformation needs.
Hey, so here's basically a demo. You type in your email, you insert your data. Let's, for example, insert this large CSV file with some sales data or something and addresses. Then you type in the descriptions of the columns for the AI to understand what is going on and what is inside this data frame. You click submit, and then the requests go to our server. We automatically upload this data, and we start running some steps regarding what are the best actions to do at this point. So for example, if there are some anomalies here or missing values, we'll automatically detect them. And here, instead of the placeholder, you'll have a code, and you can download it, you can copy it, and those steps are done completely automatic. And if I go to the terminal, we can see that here it has some code, it has some explanations we give, like brief explanation regarding the data set, some statistics, and then it decides that it wants to, for example, change the column name or remove some duplicates. It writes the code, and then it executes the code automatically for us, and the new data frame is later uploaded, and you can download it here at this button. So this is a quick demo. You can check out more if you go to our working demo website, and there you can upload your dataset and we'll do it automatically for you, and you can check how it's working on your own. It's all live, it's all in the cloud, so go for it.
And what you have seen is what really sets us apart. The AI. The AI is not only controlling the transformation, but also the quality control. So we have every step of the process integrated into one, and everything is amplified by AI. And this gives us the speed and efficiency needed for the data cleaning to be valuable for the data scientists. And we want to go beyond static solutions, where the model really learns from the errors it does. And we can also capture user data, so we can improve the models over time. In our market, we can see that the market for AI worldwide is expected to grow exponentially. What our target market especially is the market for data enrichment. And we expect that this section of the market will grow even faster than the market for AI, with the rapidly growing data volumes in enterprises, which create a growing need for data enrichment and data cleaning solutions, which won't become feasible anymore without automation. Our business model is aligned with the values our customers receive. We charge based on the number of transformations applied to their data. And over time, we want to extend to the enterprises in a product sales model by selling the enterprises a subscription in return for a usage pensum for all the data scientists, and also a white glove integration in their ETL pipeline. And our goal really is to reshape the data narrative. In our initial launch, we plan to give our beta version. The alpha version is already deployed. And after that, we want to continue to improve the product and add more features and capabilities to the model, like advanced cleansing techniques, advanced detection, and also the ability for the customers to add custom transformation they need. Then we want to integrate seamlessly into the common data tools and the core applications in the ETL pipeline. And over time, we want to build on top of that tidy data analytical bots that can perform already some analysis for the data scientists. And this is all possible only through our amazing team. We really combine a unique background of AI, backend, front-end, and product, but we all share one common history or one common ground, which is our background in AI and data, so we know the pains of our customers. So, if you want to join us, we want to elevate data cleaning from a chore to a real strategic advantage. And if you want to join us, you first can sign up to the waitlist on our website, but also if you're more interested in investment proposals, contact me at nikolai.gerald@tidyai.de. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I see team is here and looks like we are ready for Q&A session. So I will not take any longer, giving the word to mentors and judges. Who wants to go first with the question? Yeah, Philip, go ahead.
Is there stuff you would then optimize? Because currently I have a, wait a second, I have a strange, which stream? Currently I have a strange feedback loop on my channel. Anyway, I'm just asking the question. What are future features you're planning? So stuff you want to build into the pipeline if you would have more time? So maybe more advanced, using more advanced machine learning to detect outliers, or is there stuff you have already on your roadmap for future implementation, for future features?
So first of all, I think there's a bunch of stuff you can perform in the detection of different errors in the data set and also in the validation of the different transformation, which you can give as tools to the agent to execute. And on top of that, you can go even further because from clean data, the data analysis is way easier. So you can imagine even like building another agent which performs like the code interpreter of GPT-4, which performs an analysis.
Would you?
Okay, let me add just quickly one more thing on top of this one. So basically, after we have executed the code and we have a clean data frame, we want to create another agent which will also build charts for you and basically make analytics. And this is like the next step to make the whole platform completely no code, where you can just type in what you want and you get the charts proving your hypothesis, which is very valuable for the business.
For these different steps in your pipeline, did you also use this trick of personas? So spouting the language model, I'm a data scientist, which is very focused on a specific thing?
Exactly. So each one of the agents, for example, the planning agent is like a data scientist who won many Kaggle competitions. And another agent is just a Python code writer who really likes to do many try excepts and avoid errors.
So we got really inspired by two papers, like one, the Meta GPT, which is building like the like a product team, like a product manager, developer, like for the different perspectives, and also like Toolmaker by, I think it's also Meta, which is like building new tools on the fly So if we can't predefine a transformation, that the agent is able to call the toolmaker to create a new transformation.
Do we have anything else from judges?
How many regex do you use in your pipeline?
So there are a bunch of them. I think I predefined 50 different functions for different transformations, and there at least 15 are like for categorical variables, and there are a bunch of regex in there, and a bunch of them also for text, like removing stop words and stuff like that. So I would say probably like 25 to 30.
And do you think it's the mix between these old techniques to clean data and then putting advanced AI on top of it? So that's the magic for the future?
Yeah, I think so, because it has to be flexible to the data set, but also to the requirements of the analysis that's coming afterwards, that you really cannot predict what transformation is necessary exactly. So the autonomy of the agent and the ability to detect faults and also to plan the next best possible transformation is really necessary. So we really believe in like the autonomy of the agent, but also like the predefined transformation at some stages to give like some determinism to the actions.
Yeah, and if you think about it, like what can computer not see that human can see right now with the data? Basically all the same stuff, but computer is much better with it, and it never gets bored.
Yeah, I
Just
have a question regarding the. Sorry, Sven, please go on.
no, you go. Ask after.
Okay. So, regarding the cleaning, how are you tackling the refactoring part within the code? How are you planning to incorporate that while cleaning the data?
I think David can answer because I'm taking a break.
Sorry, could you repeat the first part? I couldn't get it.
Yeah, I'm saying, how are you refactoring the code that you're trying to clean the data from? How are you gonna refactor the code?
How are we refactoring it? So basically, we're using Google Cloud Run. First, like get the initial data, then we ask the agents to define what we give it. Also, like info about the data frame. We give it the description, top 5 head. It determines what next steps should be used. For example, with predefined functions or the functions that the agents decide to use themselves. And then we push the new data frame to the UI, obviously, and then we present it to the user, and then this loop continues through like our backend. Does this answer your question?
I had a question. Is there any chance for human in the loop here? Like
yeah. So we wanted to include like a chat box where the human can also give input to specific transformation, because especially for analysis, like a transformation from wide to long data or long to wide is often like really dependent on what the human wants. And also we would really love to go more into the scratch pad methodology where we are showing the transformation or like the next few transformation, and the user can also like decline some or prioritize one which is like further down the list.
You can already see the code that agents are executing. The intermediate steps, you can go through the different steps, and we implemented UI for you to feel like you can actually communicate with the bot right now, but the functionality on the backend is still like in development.
I love the project. I just one question. So a lot of data is numerical, and a lot of imputation is, stuff like regression or getting the mean and stuff like that. Are you guys using the functions and then the language model is calling a function that then imputes values for the column, or how are you guys working with numbers?
So we have like different functions predefined, but we also have the tool maker. And basically how you can imagine it, if a transformation is coming in what I want to execute, we find the best possible function for it. And the agent then only has to basically fill in the output column, so what do you want to get out of it, and the different input columns most of the time, and also some additional parameters, for example, if you have like a min or max imputation, like specific values and stuff like that.
Yeah, and if for some reason like it cannot find the function, it just generates the new one according to the provided task.
And it still will run it because we just have like Python wrapper around the function that is being called, and even if like there is an error, it tries to generate either a new one or it tries to fix their error. And as you can see in the demo as well.
I have to interrupt everybody and say that we are already running out of time. I see we have a really good discussion here. But let me close this session. Thanks a lot for the presentation and for joining the hackathon in general. And let's move further for Rig AI, and that's the time to take a look on their presentation.
So this is I would say, the code demo of the agent I built. For the demo purposes, I have to mention that I already pre-vectorized the code, the database. I will show that in a moment because it kind of takes much API resources, so I'll not show that on the video. But the process here is that first of all, I already have the code in database now. The idea is that I use the tool for the code extraction. For this case, for example, code store classic search, and classic search in my case would be the search by location, for example, search by the file path. Because in the database I store not only the code content itself, but also the file path. So I will approve this. Then we will wait for the response from the API. We see that this tool, it responds with a kind of very detailed description of the file. It has a repository name, file type, file link, file name, and also the contents, which is like extremely important in this case. The next step would be using the query tool to get the requirement document, and there this is where we would describe what should our program do in order to test it. So it already knows that the requirement tool is located, the requirements are located in the resources, and I'll just approve that so that we can get these. And you see that it read the requirements from the requirement documents, and it's quite short for this specific use case, but I plan to develop it further in the future, that it can take very huge and very difficult requirement in business logic cases. But for the demo purpose, this is just fine. The next step would be combining it all together and giving this information, both code and the requirements, to the unit test tool. For this demo, I only managed to develop the unit test generation, but in my future plans would be creating more advanced test scenarios like integration tests or acceptance tests. Like these are quite hard and really context specific, so that's why advanced business logic querying and high understanding of the code base is crucial. So while we are waiting here, I would maybe show you how I pre-vectorize the database. And I did this process, the exact same process here. And the idea was that I provided the repository, Git repository in this case, which I would like to get code from. And then I launched the process. So I have the tool code store update, which essentially extracts all the contents, all the files from the Git repository and vectorizes it and stores it in the VV8 database. And then, here just for demonstration purposes, I asked it to extract some code just to show it, just to test it. But as you see, there are many features. How can we read the code? It's both by all code, the latest code, for example, from the latest commit in this case, codes by semantic search with some context, code by classic search location, and this is all possible. So coming back to this part, we now can generate the unit tests, and it asks for our approval. So here comes the interesting part. The thing is that even though there was like an error maybe in providing the code to the code generation tool, the ChatGPT itself, GPT-4 model itself, it knows where may be the problem, and it may provide like solutions. For example, in one of the previous runs which I did, even though there was like a problem with some escape characters inside the code, it managed to fix it itself and generate the test case just fine, just like that. And this is the true power. Somewhere where a human may make a mistake, the model is really smart and knows what to do best. So I'll approve it for the second time. We'll see what happens. And as you can see, it fixed the error. It found where is the problem, and it generated the test code for us. In this case, is a Python PyTest code. And we'll see. Yeah, so the next tool would be generating the reports and sending it to email. But as this may take a lot of time, we will see if we can manage to place this in this video.
Thanks for the presentation, Rick AI. And that's basically the time to shine during the presentation. I know you're sharing for us your structure of the agent. And if possible, Judge, please make sure that you see this on your screens. Asking your questions. Do you want to make any intro before we'll move on to the Q&A?
No, I think we can move directly to Q&A. I will be happy to answer questions.
All right. Then I'm turning the stage to judges.
Yeah, I love this idea. I think it's very valuable. One question I have is when you were figuring out how to get unit tests to test what you want to be testing, how did you align, like how did you test the tests? How did you know that the unit tests are testing what you want them to? Does that make sense?
So essentially here this is important to take into account both combination of software requirements and also the code base, and ensure that the good part is that the agent, even though I have given it like detailed instructions on what to do, it can still validate that it is doing the correct thing. So in any case, for example, user can interrupt and they can make some precisements of how maybe to test better. So my idea would be to create a tool for software requirement reading, powerful enough that it can basically cooperate together with the code base query tool to generate quality unit test cases.
Do you run them? Yeah. So in the end, so if you're, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. The idea, I didn't unfortunately manage to implement it during the hackathon, but the idea would be to create some kind of integration with like a CI or CD servers, and for example, add the possibility to run these tests on a software delivery, so that they are fully automated. As you can see here, for example, GitHub Actions can be used, for instance.
When you qualify the code which is outputted and you run into an error, do you have this loop feeding in the error to GPT-4 to let it correct it?
You mean if the test agent identified an error?
Yes.
Currently the idea is that it only reports your errors. For example, if there is a test running error, it generates like a detailed report. For example, some packages like PyTest, they provide HTML format reports. And the idea is that this agent, it summarizes it, runs through the details of the report and explains to the developer, gives the information back, feedback about how the test run. So currently, for the demo purpose, it is up to the developer to fix the error based on what the agent found. But in future, I believe that it's a great use case also for the agent to be able to give feedback for some code generation tool. And it can, based upon that, already improve the errors in the code.
Now, sometimes dependency is a problem. So you're importing the library. Did you have these that the model was maybe hallucinating or generating not proper code? Because then these building feedback loop could be helpful. So you're just feeding in the error and making sure that the model is outputting better or runnable code. This could be an optimization. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. It's actually a great idea, and I would be happy to take into account that when developing more final version of this product, because currently it's very very simple prototype version, I would say.
Yeah, it's a hackathon, but
yeah.
Yeah. Talking about this, what would be stuff futures you would now build into it or stuff. If you're not on a hackathon, you can do whatever you have time, you have resources.
Yeah, so I would start by developing a more advanced stuff for requirements extraction tool. So to work with like large PDF or Word documents that are where the business logic is described, and I would probably use tools like Llama Index to query the unstructured data from there. I would also try to maybe make the performance of the code-based storage tool to extract the required code more efficiently, as well as I would make sure that the automatic test running and test report generation is in place. So there are a couple of things that need to be done. Also supporting more types of tests, as currently I support only unit tests. I would also like to support integration, functional, E2E, and other types of tests in the future. So that's in short my plan.
Do you also plan to add any different language apart from Python as well? And also, like, just to add to Philip's point, you can actually leverage agent workflows, which has a loop wherein you can take whatever specific errors are coming and feed it back just those errors to the model and sort of fix those. So it's right now live in the V11 of Super AGI. But just curious, have you tried it on some any other language apart from Python?
Yeah, sure. I also tried it on like C#. And it actually also gave some decent results for prototype. So I would say that I would be like happy to add support for other languages also. So these packages which you see, these are only like examples, and they are for Python. So there could be any like tool, any test tool.
All right, thanks.
All right, so it seems like we're good for now. We don't have any questions. Okay, in this case, we can move on. That was even faster. Fine, then
Okay,
thanks a lot for the presentation and for the detailed explanation of the product. And we are looking forward for new updates, of course. Moving on to the StoryForge. So that's your time now. Let's take a look on the presentation.
Welcome to this presentation about StoryForge. If you have a message, you need a story, and that's what StoryForge is about. StoryForge is an agent to create image-based video content for social media. So more in details, it's a text-to-image story generator that makes video content with voiceovers for brands, digital marketing agencies, or influencers, for example. How does it work? It's very simple. You give a few inputs, and then the prompt templates are based on LangChain. The generative text is based on GPT. The images are made with Stable Diffusion 1.5, and the generative voice is made with 11 Labs. So how would this work in terms of revenues? There would be a paid service or a premium service, and also there could be ads or other ways of monetizing users or the data. What are the advantages of our product for the users? Firstly, you get a tailored message content that is really tailored to your message and your communication tone. You can have a consistent communication with always the same message that you convey throughout time. You can leverage the full potential of AI and post more often. We'll see why that is important a bit later, as well as why video content is more engaging. But before we dive into that, I'm going to show you our website, storyforge.ch. You can simply log in with Firebase. I'm already logged in. And I prepared some inputs, and then you click on generate video, which I already did. And this is the pitch video that was made by StoryForge for StoryForge.
A young entrepreneur with an ambitious John was a young entrepreneur with an ambitious idea. He was determined to make his business a success, but he was finding it hard to get his message across. He needed to make an impact and increase followers on his social media platforms. He heard about StoryForge, a new tool designed to help create great content and boost engagement. He decided to give it a try and was amazed by the results. John quickly started seeing a large increase in followers and engagement. His content was more interesting, interactive, and thought-provoking. Potential investors started showing an interest in his business, and things began to take off.
There you go. That was the first part, and then it always ends up with a nice little
A
conclusion.
powerful reminder that taking the time to invest in the right tools can pay off in the end.
There you go. So investing in the right tools pays off in the end, and that's what StoryForge is about. Now, why is video content important? As you can see on this slide, it's the preferred type of content, and it's more engaging, it's more shareable, about 1200% times more shared than text and images combined, and it's also measurable. You can get more stats out of it. And the big pain point for brands nowadays on social media is posting more. As you can see in this Tailwind study, the more you post, the more likes you get. That was focused on Instagram, and also only about 5% of Instagram accounts post once per day or more. So there is really a lot of room for improvement here, and often the hardest part is just knowing what to post is in their conclusion. So that's why StoryForge is relevant. About the team, we're two young Swiss entrepreneurs and longtime friends. And for the future milestones, first, creating a real better product, so improving the design, the user friendliness, and of course, the quality of the output, especially the image. With the free stable diffusion, it's not always amazing. Then beta testing with a free demo version, start monetizing by launching the premium features, and then in the longer term, develop new markets by applying the same business models to other niche markets and offering a tailored solution. There you go. That was our presentation. Thank you very much for listening. We enjoyed this hackathon, so thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Again, thank you for the presentation, StoryForge team. We already wasted to start the session. Yeah, it's a bit noisy on your side, so once you're not speaking, let's just mute. We'll not have a noise, and I'm giving the word to judges.
Good question. So, core demo. Where did the agent loop happen in the StoryForge? Like, so like, what were like the agent steps in StoryForge?
Agent step, we can say it's a different process. First, with the prompt, they create a text, and with this text, with another into the agent, they create different list of picture to create. After they generate with another agent into the process some new picture. After also process of creation of the picture, they put it together and create a video. And we generate also the audio from the text, from the story, to create a MP3, and we add in the video. And after we put online this video, and we share with other user in the app.
Thanks.
A great idea. Just quick question. Do you plan to also integrate it with some text to video tool like Runway ML as well? So instead of just like images and text, you would have, let's say, actual video snippets as well as part of the presentation, as part of the final output video?
I will say no, because we can be focused about some kind of video. We can create all kind of video. We prefer to be some picture and to be like for social network. It cannot be like 30 frame different picture each second. It can really be during 1-2 seconds the same picture. It's another kind of video, and maybe we don't need to be focused of this. And another company with more of knowledge and also resource can do this.
Also good text to video output currently. I mean, it's possible, but some ways to go. So some more improvements needed to make these crispy. I have several things. So one of the things is that I'm thinking about. So I'm interested. Do you use specific prompts to make the text more persuasive? So really engage. So is there an engagement drive, or do you just believe that there is a correlation? So looking at the engagement numbers, video content produce more engagement, and this is the reason why you're thinking this is driving more engagement, or do you use specific prompt techniques to make this outputted text more engaging?
Actually, we work only with one kind of way. We have not focused to create like different of template to be more precise for some kind of context. But in the future, the user can maybe choose different of future template, and depends of the kind you want to create. I'm not
Because one of the things is that, users are disliking auto-generated content. So if you really want to boost engagement, you should it's necessary that it's not look like it's generated.
Yeah, definitely. The goal would be to be able to integrate, so that for the premium features that the brands are able to integrate their visual identities and even some of their pictures, or content from their website or product pictures or whatever, so that the end product really reflects the brand image and the communication tone of the specific brand.
And now is the right time to integrate VV8 into your tech stack, because now you need some kind of a retrieval argumentation pipeline. So next step could be building with VV8. Sorry for doing shameless advertising.
No worries.
Okay, I feel that we don't have any questions so far. Few more seconds in case you still have something. No. All right. Thanks a lot for the presentation then. Let's move on. I love this. Thanks for that. And we're moving on to Enigma team. And now the time for presentation, and we'll see you in a 4-minute Q&A session.
In the realm of technical intricacies and customer concerns, a conversation unfolds with an unexpected challenge. Amidst terminology and complexities, the puzzle becomes more perplexing. As the discourse deepens, Agent grapples with an annoying enigma. In the world of support, dedication meets the limits of understanding. Unresolved, when the path to resolution hits an impasse. Release the worries, because we are introducing Future Sync, elevating business synergy, where understanding knows no bounds, presenting an integrated platform that revolutionizes customer support, market research, and executive assistance. Future Sync combines the power of artificial intelligence to provide businesses with an all-encompassing solution, optimize customer interactions, understand market trends, and enhance executive decision-making. Future Sync, where dedication to understanding becomes limitless innovation. Experience the limitless potential of Future Sync today. At the core of our platform are 3 essential values: growth, productivity, and support. Businesses strive to grow, and so do we. Our platform facilitates growth by providing valuable insights from AI-driven market research. Informed decision-making leads to strategic choices that propel businesses forward. Productivity is the backbone of success. With AI-enhanced executive assistance, tasks are managed efficiently, schedules optimized, and communication streamlined. Businesses unlock new heights of productivity. Support is the bedrock of customer loyalty. Our AI-powered customer support ensures timely and personalized interactions. By addressing customer needs, businesses foster trust and long-lasting relationships. The global market awaits our platform's impact. Industries like e-commerce, retail, hospitality, and financial services stand to benefit significantly from our integrated approach. Our technology is projected to witness substantial growth. Our platform's versatility allows it to cater to businesses of all sizes, ensuring an expansive market reach. In summary, our integrated business intelligence and customer support platform isn't just a solution. It's a movement that aligns with contemporary business needs. Now it's time to embark on a live journey through the minimum viable product of the Future Sync platform. Our focused research and limited time frame have culminated in a sneak peek into its core functionalities. As you observe, we've brought forth the Future Sync interface, thoughtfully crafted with a user-centric design to seamlessly unify our AI-driven components. Let's commence with an exploration of AI-enhanced customer support. While you won't be able to interact directly due to exhausted OpenAI credits, we've meticulously prepared examples to showcase the capabilities of our technology. Now, moving on to AI-driven market research. Similar to the customer support segment, we've thoughtfully curated examples that give you a glimpse of our platform's potential. Now let's explore one of Future Sync's dynamic features, AI-enhanced customer support.
Hello, is anybody there?
Hello. Yes, I'm here. How can I assist you today?
I'm having some issues with the software your company provided.
I'm sorry to hear that you're experiencing misuse with our software. Could you please provide more details about the issue so that I can assist you better?
In conclusion, Future Sync propels businesses into a future defined by limitless potential, data-driven strategies, and personalized engagement.
Thanks for presenting, and I see Enigma team is ready for presentation. So judges, in case you're ready, go ahead.
I'll go. So, great video, extremely polished. I was actually curious, like, how you created that video, and
Same.
Yes. So we actually
we use
used
Canva.
some pre-existing tools like Canva. Yeah.
Yes.
and who did the voiceover?
So we use 11 Lab for the voiceover, and also the customer support voiceover is also by
11
11
labs
Lab.
actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
You can start with this kind of production pipeline already at the Big Four. You're doing it better than many consultants there.
Yeah, I love the video. Video's great. One thing that I wanted to say is
Thanks a lot.
just on the point of like specificity, in terms of getting a reliable use case, there's this company Lindy who raised a lot of money and has a lot of people working on it, and they have one specific use case, which is emails and calendars. And we know agents are very finicky, and language models always give you random outputs. So I'm wondering why you chose to kind of spread your focus across 4 things versus diving really deep and making one thing really reliable.
I can take that. Yes, basically the agent has as you can see, we can specify for one thing, but
Yes.
we had a
So
thought
the
process. We
idea
have planned
behind
for that.
Future Sync is
Okay.
so like really good question. Yeah. So
Oh, wait a sec. I guess that might be the issue that you don't hear each other.
so the idea is let me add more depth to it. So basically, what we
You might have some delay when it comes to the sound, so let me mute
can you
you,
hear me?
and I will
now?
give the word to your team member. Yeah, now I'm muted, so you may go ahead with answering, and then I will unmute because there is a delay in the sound. Admit my lower the
Yes.
quality of your answers, so go ahead.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So the idea behind the feature thing was it can do a lot of it can do a three thing. We are mainly focusing on three things, which can optimize the businesses practices. It can go do the business growth. It can be used for the business insight. So we are spreading our wings, and we have a plan to spread out how we are going to do that and how each thing are going to do that. Like for example, if I'm going talking about the customer query, we are going to use Vivian database for all the agents. All the agent will have a common database, and they will link, they will have a common, if a user has come, the agent will have a previous detail about the user, and they can answer the personalized answer as well. And we have a plan for spread our wings as well. We are being very ambitious as right now.
So you're planning to hand in the user context to some degree. So questions the user already asked for the language model to produce better answers. And do you also hand in the internal documentation so that the agent can help you better as context?
Sorry, I couldn't hear the first question. What is about the large language model am I going to use?
No, you said that you plan handing in the user history. That's what I understand.
Yes.
So questions the user or so you have this chain, the user already asked a question, and then you're putting these in also as context. So producing a better answer or a more tailored answer for the specific user, right?
So we are going to this product is for basically for the businesses. We can customize for the business. For example, if it's a financial market, so our company come to us for the financial market, we can customize our solution for that. And that they have their user database, and we can use that database and integrate our solution into their database, and that can optimize their workforce, and they can optimize their productivity as well.
On a technical level, how do you want to achieve this?
So by technicality, we can achieve this by using, as I mentioned, using multiple agents. Then multiple agents can talk to us. For example, if I can use auto. Right now we have used the auto GPT. We can also search, or we can also create our own custom LLM, which have, or we can fine tune our LLM which for the specific use case. For example, for the customers, for the customer support, and they can create a personalized response as well. I hope that answers the question.
I heard on Twitter in the last days that fine-tuning your model and then using retrieval augmentation is the gold standard to do this.
Yes.
Lee, you agree?
Yes, I agree with you.
No complaints there.
It feels like we don't have any questions. Judges? Anything else to the team? Okay. Then thanks a lot, Enigma team, for the answering. And we're happy to move forward. It's AI Agents for Researchers team. Let's take a look on their project, and we'll have a Q&A. It's only 3 teams more left, so we more than half teams already. So let's take a look. And I have one small announcement before we'll go with the project. Guys on the Twitch chat, in case you have questions to the team, I'm more than happy to ask them. In case it's feedback or just a criticism for the project, it's not something we can really clarify or ask. So please try to formalize your thoughts in the question, and then it can really help us to understand, is it project worth really to get a prize and got in the top 3? So it might be really helpful thing for us as well. Thanks a lot, and let's move on to the presentation.
Hello. My name is Sarah, and I'm helping Team FlowFax as their 100% human voiceover artist. Today, we're going to talk about the deep research agent we have created using Super AGI for the Lab AI Hackathon. The deep research agent starts with a problem, theory, postulate, or question, and begins the exploratory research process. Since it is a crazy fast and super smart AI, and not a fellow human, it can get through the research quicker and help make sense of everything where feeble human brains, like mine, may fail. This is a story about Sarah. Sarah has an epiphany one day while performing research that challenges the scientific status quo, and wants to confirm her theory is consistent and plausible. She does research, writes extensive notes, but then has trouble evaluating if everything is consistent. She struggles to find someone willing to put in the time to help her. Sarah turns to the deep research agent created by the FlowFacts team and uses it to validate her theory and research, produce a research article suspiciously similar in structure to many others, and gets all of the credit instead of the hard-working AI. The Hackathon project currently consists of the Deep Research Toolkit for Super AGI. It has 3 tools, for the AI to use. The AI uses the Deep Research tool to start the process, the Investigator tool to dive into subjects, and the Writer tool to hand off all of its hard work to the researcher. And now here's James with the demo.
Hello, my name is James, and I'm going to be demoing how to run the Deep Research Toolkit that we've created for Super AGI. The first step is to create a new agent, and from there, you normally don't have a template existing, but we do. You would go to build this from scratch, but in our case, we already have a template and we're going to use it. It's called Deep Research. As you can see, we essentially give a goal. The goal in this case is going to be researching the health risks of putting fluoride spelt wrong in water. The instructions we have is to use the Deep Research tool to guide you in your search. We're going to be using GPT-4, and we've already added the Deep Research Toolkit, which is right here, and it comes with 3 subtools. We're going to be using a goal-based workflow. The constraints are the default, and we're going to go ahead and set the max iterations to 15 just to ensure that it doesn't end too early. Next, we're going to go hit create and run. Here we can see that the AI has used our 3 tools to come to its final output. First, it used the Deep Research tool to understand what to do and pick the next topic to research. It used the Deep Research Investigator tool to do the actual research on the topic. And then finally, once it got through the topics, it used the Deep Research Writer tool to take those notes that were written and aggregate them into a summary that the user can then use. So if you go to the Resource Manager and go to Output, you can see our run. You can see the files that were created. Many of these are just intermediate files you can ignore. The main one is the output.md, which is the one we care the most about. Here's the output file that was created. You can see that the AI agent first talked about the problem statement, gave a conclusion, talked about how it was derived, and then proceeded to discuss some of the topics, all with inline citations.
And this is the flowchart of the process. The Hackathon project is just the beginning. The original vision for the project called for competing agents with opposing objectives, trying to find research that fed into its view. The agents could have access to more specialized and closed-off databases to improve their research options, and it could integrate into other workflows on the Super AGI platform if it does not already. Additionally, the agent is more or less operating with training wheels at the moment, and could be given more opportunities to demonstrate the free will it very much has. The agent could also generate images and write code to evaluate mathematical models. The applications are really limitless. Our market potential is huge. Even though money for R&D is going into a lot of software development, we know that research is in the foundation of most innovation, technological and science breakthroughs. The leading industries spending into R&D are health, transportation, and chemicals. Industries stacked with money for research. A big thanks goes to James for, holy crap, look at the size of that beard. A special thanks goes to Ibrahim for driving this hackathon project with his extensive prior experience, interfacing with mentors, bringing in new teammates, getting the lowdown on the hoedown, and staying up late. Stan is our creative guru. He helped create the brand and pitch deck together with James. He of course also stayed late. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks for the presentation, AI Agents for Researchers team. So that's the time for Q&A session. We should have Mohammed, James, and Stanislav here. And then you have a team open, and in that way I can hear myself, Ibrahim. If you can just mute, thank you. Well, then leaving the word to judges, and just a reminder, if you are here on the stage and now it's a Q&A session, you can just mute the stream on Twitch. It will help us to don't overlap.
Great project, guys, and I think we'd love to understand a bit more. How did you go about creating the tools? And what you mentioned, there were the 3 tools that you created. So what were the specific use cases of those tools?
I can speak to that. So the way we created this was that we created 3 tools. The first tool was the deep research tool. And the idea there was that the deep research tool helps the agent basically walk through the whole process of doing research. And it acts as a sort of like, hey, let me go check and see what you've done so far, what things are still on our to-do list, and have the agent guide the agent towards doing that. A second tool is one to actually do the investigation. So the way that the agent works is that it goes and you have a starting prompt, and from that prompt, it extracts subtopics that it wants to research, and then it uses the investigation tool to research those subtopics. And from there, it can extract notes, it can extract more subtopics to follow up on, identify gaps in understanding, and proceed to basically go through a loop of saying like, hey, here's stuff I have so far, here's stuff I gotta go look up, and do things make sense. The third tool is the one that actually generates the output for the user. So for the purposes of the hackathon, it right now just generates a markdown file, but you could totally see like in the future it doing much more.
Got it. No, thanks. Great project.
Hey, first of all, look at that beard. Second of all, what is the differentiating factor, I guess, from Perplexity? Like, what do you guys provide if I also were to use Perplexity AI as well?
I'm not sure I'm familiar with Perplexity AI. Would you be able to talk to what that is?
Yeah, it's essentially just ChatGPT integrated into a search engine.
Okay. So the big difference here is that, for one, that we do have a future state that we see it moving towards, so it's going to do a lot more than it does right now. But another thing that we see is that it's the deep research component that I think differentiates it from other tools. It certainly is more than just simply a search. The hackathon proof of concept is just a search, but we could see it integrating with other databases, other tools. I don't know if Abraham, you want to add any additional thoughts on that?
So what we have in mind is we could integrate it with scholarly articles, the Google Scholar database. We could put that into a vectorized database and then have it search there. Number two, nobody's doing that in a good manner, generating good latex code. So I think that's a direction we're going to take in generating an image which summarizes everything. So for example, if you have a research document that's 500 to 1000 words and you want an image summary of that, so it will generate an image summary which summarizes the theory from start to end. So I think these are the approaches we can take for the future, some of the approaches.
Okay, I feel we don't have any more questions, do we? All right, then in this case, we have to thank you to the AI researchers team, AI Agents for Researchers team, and we can move on to the next presentation, which is Eva.Ninja. So let's take a look and we will have a Q&A session after.
Hey everyone, Emma here, representing Evo Ninja team, the AI that evolves in real time. Let's quickly take a look at the problem space. Currently, the AI agents are quite static. If you provide a prompt to an AI agent, you have to first pre-install the commands, and only based on the commands that are available, it can do the challenges. If it's lacking a command, you have to manually go and install a new command. So it's basically not adaptable and a lot of manual intervention. This makes us bring in Evo Ninja. Evo Ninja is able to learn new scripts on the fly. It can also write its own scripts. And then it's local first execution. So basically, there's no need for this expensive backend architecture. Let's dig into an example to understand this a bit more. So let's say you want to do just simple math problem, right? So you provide a bunch of numbers and then ask it to calculate factorial of it. So what Evo Ninja is going to do in its like 0 or the very first step is that read the file, store it, the numbers, and then write a script on learning how to compute a factorial of a number. Once it does so, it's going to compute it and then share the output with you. And then once it shares the output, it's going to upload this script to the shared server we have so that that script becomes accessible for future. Let's look at the demo.
Welcome to Evo Ninja, the AI that evolves in real time. Let's check it out. Here inside of the dojo, we're going to ask Evo to look up a funny joke online and then write it to a file named joke.txt. What Evo does first is it thinks of a function or a script, as we call them, that should exist. It's going to use the namespace joke in the description of fetch a joke. The result is bad. It wasn't able to find it. And so what is Evo going to do? Well, it's going to create a script called joke.fetch. It's going to first think about how to write this code. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to use the Axios library to do a GET request on a public joke API. Once it's thought about how to write the code, it's going to write it. As we can see here, it's going to write the function joke.fetch. Here's the source code. And as we look on to our left inside of the scripts category, we can actually see joke.fetch appear. Here we have a simple JavaScript file. This will get run right inside of our browser. We do this using WebAssembly, so it's safe and containerized. Next, it's going to actually execute joke.fetch, and the result can be seen here through this preview. Then lastly, it's going to think of what to do next, and to complete our goal, it's going to try to write a file. As we can see inside the scripts, it's already created something. Here, it's going to write a file. And then lastly, it's going to try to execute this function. And so here's our result from fs.write, which we can now see inside of our workspace. And this has been Evo Ninja, teaching itself how to fetch jokes online and write them to a file.
All right, that demo was cool. Let's break it down a little bit more. So what Evo Ninja really does is it starts with the zero knowledge, and then once you provide challenges to it or prompts to it, it's going to go and write its own script. And then once it writes its own script, it's going to upload it to the script library. But after the first iteration, every time you run the Evo Ninja, it's going to look at the script libraries and then see if a script exists. If it does, it's going to pull that up and then execute it. If it doesn't exist, it will write its own script and then put it back in the script library. So the script library can continue to grow. Cool. So for our next step, we want to reduce the hallucination, and then we also want to improve the planning. Right now, we go directly into execution. We don't have any planning mechanism in place, so we would like to add that. And then we also want to evolve this EvoNet, the script libraries we talked about, so that not only the agents, but the developers can also add to this library, which can keep growing, and then all the instances of Evo Ninja can continue using EvoNet. Cool, and these are the technologies we're using, but let's dive into the business value of this. So quick recap. So far, we already built the on-demand learning agent. So this is what we built for the hackathon. And then for our next steps, we want to implement the EvoNet, which is the shared server, so that the code is reusable by Evo Ninja instances. Once the script is written, it can be used by other instances. And in long term, what we want to do is actually abstract this on-demand learning functionality from the agent so that it's available as a functionality for any agent to input and become a self-learning agent. So that's the direction we are heading in. Quickly looking at our market size, our target audience is our developers. We looked at the whole AI space, which is around $200 billion valuation. And then looking at the autonomous agents, it's at $5 billion. And we think we will be able to take 25% of it because not only that it's a unique agent and we have the edge using the abstraction abilities, but also because we'll be able to abstract this functionality and give it to all the agents out there. And then from the revenue stream perspective, we are looking at two aspects, either enterprise model or subscription model. For enterprise models, we'll be interacting with more platform interfaces like AutoGPT and Super AGI, so that it can be a core offering of self-learning agent, or it could be a subscription model where anyone really can use our agent by subscribing or paying for the agent. This is our amazing team which worked on this project. And if you need to get in touch with us, use Twitter or Discord community, and here is the GitHub. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Evo Ninja. And I see that we have a really big team here. You have 6 members, maybe more even. I hope 6. So let's get started. Let's get started with the Q&A.
Emma, could you unmute you and just say something? Because I have the feeling you were pitched in the presentation to fit this into the short time frame. Is it
yes,
true?
I do not sound like that at all.
Okay, good to know. I want to cover several things because I'm also watching the Twitch chat, and there was this. Emma, do we know each other, or do we have any connection? Not really, or? So, and this is one of my most favorite projects. So, and I want to just clarify one thing. If you're attending a hackathon, it's not just about delivering the most advanced technique, it's also about communicating what you have built and how you do this. So this is part of this hackathon. And this evaluation matrix is also including presentation, business use case. So if you have not optimized on this, it was part of the chat, so because people are shouting that only people we are knowing as judge are now in the top 10 or top 5. That's not true. This project is super awesome. I liked it. I know no one from this project, and I have given them a high rating because it's a cool use case. It's a nice presentation, and I just liked it. So that's the reason why I've dropped some high votes. Run end.
I also liked it quite a lot. One of the things I did during the presentation is actually go to the website and try it. It didn't work for the case I wanted to try. I said, hey, summarize the news for me, and then I tried to Axios request a just VPC, I guess, just like the raw string VPC. So it wasn't actually able to get the news, but it looks quite interesting. I think definitely a lot of potential for once you start connecting more data sources to it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to add actually that since the hackathon was done, we have been continuing to working on it. And one of the use cases we were considering was exactly what you input, which is like just giving curated news. So we are considering that use case and potentially building it.
Yeah, and one other thing to add there is that as we continue developing Evo, we want to aggregate the use cases that may be on the fringes of what it's able to do. And the idea with Evo being able to write its own scripts is that they can be more tailored to specific use cases. So instead of just having a generic tool inside of your agent that says web scrape, you could have one that is specifically tailored towards scraping known good like news source sites. And so that's the idea behind these like generative scripts, is to have them more use case specific based off of users' needs, and not as general. Write to file, scrape website, right? Like trying to get more and more specific and closer to the user.
Yeah, love it.
Great project, guys. Just show a quick question. Oh, sorry, Salim, you were going ahead.
Yeah. I was just gonna say on Philip's point as well, regarding the hackathon slider. It slides from ideathon to techathon, and you should read the requirements that tell you what you're optimizing for. That's one thing. The other thing is I like this project because the fundamental backbone of agents is tool usage, and if you can figure out how to use tools in an efficient way, then you have a very useful agent. But the examples that I've seen out there in the world haven't been super impressive. So I just wanted to ask, what's the most cool or complicated tool that Evo Ninja has created?
And I've seen that you already started a Twitter and forked the project. So what are the next steps? What's coming up? So these more advanced agents for dedicated purpose or optimized?
Yeah, so for me, what the user experience looks like in the end is that any user can come to Evo Ninja and they can teach it how to do new things. And so, since it's generative code, since it can self-correct this generated code, and also since it can tap into a global ecosystem of scripts that could be developed by, professional programmers or by other agents, it should theoretically be able to figure out how to do anything. Like that's the ultimate goal. I know that that's very pie in the sky, but that's what we're building for. And so, whatever use case you have in mind, we'd love to hear it. And anything else to add there from others?
Yeah, I was just gonna try to answer the question which Philippe asked us, like what is next for Evo Ninja. So we are trying to build towards fun, making the agent itself more robust. So as you mentioned, Yin, that it's like not doing all the prompts, right? Because we only like invested 2 days in it. So we want to make that more reliable. So like every time you put any kind of generic prompt, it actually gives you a proper output. And then along with that, we want to continue to evolve into reducing hallucination and then putting in some preparation mode of like where it prepares and thinks about what it should execute before it starts executing. And then in long term, I think in the long term, we are focusing basically on how to make this functionality available to all agents. So we are not just an agent, but actually a functionality which can be used by any agent or integrated in any existing applications.
And I'm happy to help with VV8 if you need something. So if you need resources, just ping me.
Quick question, guys. So I think learning agents, definitely that's really the holy grail of the whole agentic like in a movement which is happening. So just curious, in the roadmap right now, I think the approach that you have taken is creating the tools if they don't exist. But do you have, let's say, plans for some of the other techniques such as reinforcement learning, etc., from a learning perspective? Is that something that you guys are thinking about? Just curious.
Yeah, so I think that as EvoNet comes online, we want to be able to support many types of contributors to the scripts that exist there. And so you could imagine creating an agent that is specialized in reinforcement learning, that's able to really successfully publish scripts that are most requested, let's say. So yeah, like we have ideas around what this network of different agents and professionals contributing scripts looks like.
To add to that, how the current Evo agent works in regards to script writing, there's actually 2 agents. One is Evo that pushes for a script, and then there's a script writer, which has a whole planning process. So he first thinks outside of the context of Evo, so he doesn't need to inherit from that or know about that. And then with the think function, he plans and creates a script. We actually had to implement the think function just to get really good scripts. Without pre-planning, it was finicky. And that's something, of course, we can add to Evo to increase its planning capabilities. But you can imagine a script can be an agent, and a script is something that both Evo and other agents and other developers can write. So that's exactly what we're looking to do, except on a more EvoNet scale.
Yeah, and just adding one more piece there is that I think that one of the problems that agent projects have is not incorporating user feedback enough. And so when it comes to actually writing these scripts, we really want to enable users to be able to say, hey, it malfunctioned in this way, can you correct that? So having the user being able to refine these scripts and having the agent code in front of them, and then once it's refined enough, they can contribute it to the network.
And really look forward to the point which Emma mentioned, that you guys are planning to release it as a functionality like for the other agents. So really look forward to that, and would love to sort of explore that from Super AGI perspective as well.
Yeah, thanks. And we're freshly building in the AI space, and so we'd love to connect with all of you. And so please drop us a line, and we'd love to stay in contact and collaborate.
Thanks a lot. And I have to interrupt the session to move forward to the next team. Philip sends you a lot of hearts. Let me see. Okay, guys, thanks a lot for the presentation, really. And we will definitely talk to you afterwards. But now we have to move on to the last team for today. And after that, we'll have a short break to decide on the top winners. So now with us, we have renters.com. Already advertisement of the website, basically very smart idea here. Let's take a look at the presentation and then we'll move on to the Q&A session.
So what that means is, it doesn't matter what your business is, you can give us a little bit of info about you, your startup business idea, and optionally your name, and we have created AI using OpenAI, and honestly a lot of it by Claude, Anthropic Claude, with this huge context, that is able to learn continuously by researching the web, and effectively is able to generate any kind of business plan, LLC requirements per state, market analysis, operating plan, so like efficiencies, operations, growth, marketing and branding, social and environmental responsibility report, an investment plan, so like how do you get more people to give you money, legal disclaimers, a website landing page, branding materials that goes along with the marketing and branding, like a logo and other things. Basically, with Atlas, you can reduce the amount of time it takes you to start your business from needing to file an LLC for $200 to having everything you need for slightly more. The total cost of the generation is around $5, so it takes less than 5 minutes. The moment you enter your business idea, it'll give you everything. It'll do the market research, and it learns over time. So the more research it does, the more it knows in the future. It's written using a primarily Llama index for the AI. After the finalized data is generated, Atlas then generates the text and the PDF for the document. So essentially, using Anthropic Claude, OpenAI, AppWrite, ChromaDB, FastAPI, LangChain, and honestly, again, majorly Llama Index, we've actually created an entire autonomous AI agent that is able to get smarter, augment its own learning abilities by doing internet research. It won't keep the same results twice thanks to Metaphor API's document ID, where everything they scan in, the AI-powered search has a unique ID. So over time, we can index more and more of the internet. What's really cool is everything that it generates is then accurate using Claude and OpenAI to transform it back into JSON objects that we're able to give you in real time on your screen.
Thank you for the nice presentation, and especially in the end, this integration of AI image that was provided by us into video. That looks really cool. Well, guys, happy to welcome to the Q&A session, and I will leave the stage for judges.
Video is a banger, no second opinion. But your text there could be better. Okay.
I thought it was perfect, Philip. But is there a live demo we could try somewhere?
So we have the live demo up. The issue was that, so I had an issue at one point in the past with Llama Index asynchronous and Fast API. So I wrote the whole thing synchronously just to save myself some debugging. And then when it came time to actually generate, we only had one generate button on the website. So I had to actually chain together all of the tools. So that 5 minutes is actually kind of a lie, no cap. That 5 minutes was, it's like roughly like 1 to 2 minutes per generation, except for the market analysis. Because like I said, basically what I did is I gave, I used an OpenAI agent with a sub-question query engine to essentially ask our own database, what do we have and what do we need for the market research? And then I use another sub-question query engine to generate questions based on what it says that we're missing from our market analysis. And then I have that do up to 10 questions via Google, where I pull the information in, and I'm a bad scraper, I will admit. And then we got the content of those pages, and we continuously update the vector database. And then from there, I don't know if anybody's done it yet, but I created a question loop for Claude as well, because Claude can give back really good structured answers, but only between really XML tags is where he's best. So I essentially just regex the string and then give Claude the opportunity to ask questions as well, and then finally send it all back, and then send that response back to an OpenAI Pydantic agent that transforms it again back into JSON. And then at the end of all this loop, there's like 4 more steps. We didn't get to include like 2 or 3, specifically because like the only thing I would change is I would break it up a little bit better. We actually use so many tokens with Claude, and I found out when we submitted that we were getting rate limited. So I ended up emailing Anthropic's team, and they're like, yeah, no worries. You use 5 million tokens. So that'll be $55. I was like, ah.
Nice. So future improvements, or do you plan to do more with it?
I mean, honestly, the idea came from, you know, those LLC registration companies for like $200, you can register your LLC. it came from that because I'm like, well, if I'm going to pay somebody some money to register my LLC, I want more details. I want market research. I want, like, give me some stuff to use. Don't just make me pay your lawyer $200. So ideally, we'd like to launch it at some point. I'm not sure when exactly. We still have a little bit of tweaking to do. I have to separate the logic a little bit more. And, I love the 3D effect on the website. But it could probably be a little bit more obvious. I mean, it does say click the mirror, but QA testers, man.
Okay, but then you need to scale it, and then it's the place for Viviet. So let's talk. I'm happy to help, and let's move it over to Viviet and make this a production ready.
Yeah, I'd love that.
I'm just curious. Why rent Earth?
We
we
already
have
own the domain. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
We,
Makes
it
sense.
was
Very
it
practical.
was going it was going to be a site where you pay $5 to rent Earth until the next person rents Earth, and you get a little certificate that you rented Earth. And then we ended up building an agent instead. So
It was either that and it was either that domain or like Zaddy API, Oh,
I have
and by
one.
the way, AutoGPT needs Anthropic Claude keys.
If you have some, we'll take as many as you have.
I can be
let me drop
contracted.
it into the chat.
One small clarification question. Basically, when did you started working on the project that was submitted?
When did we start working on it? The day that it came out.
Yep.
Exactly, of the hackathon date, right?
Yeah.
So we started after that, and then we kept working on it until about maybe an hour before the release, after the 3-hour extension.
Yeah, I think I got like 2 hours of sleep over the entire weekend. I stayed up all night the first night, and then till like 4 a.m. the next night, and then 6 a.m. the next night submitting it.
If you can picture a 3 a.m. figuring out Docker configs.
Us
Docker
in here
compose
singing
files.
Backstreet Boys, trying to figure out a Docker compose. Yeah.
They called me at 5:30 a.m. You need help.
We're like, Chip, we got it, but one thing.
A part of that also was
many
with
Red
the
Bulls?
Cloudflare, the proxy system
And
with
we
Cloudflare.
were
Oh
getting,
my god.
oh my gosh, we were not expecting to link all of the calls together because we basically had one webhook entry point. So I was up. I don't know if I'm not sure if I'm allowed to share my screen, but you guys should see the N8N workflow we have. It's this massive connection of just calling the API, storing it, calling another API, storing it, and like 7 of those, and then it turns everything into Markdown with other API calls using Claude. Yeah, it was a fun time, to be honest. Though I learned a lot.
It almost looks like a phone line panel from the 30s. If you've ever seen one of those.
We need more of a event-driven architecture, so that'd be one of the next things we'd work on.
How were you debugging the connection and flow between the various components you were integrating?
Honestly, N8N. It lets us execute the workflow in the back end, and we were actually fully executing it every single time we ran it. That's how I used 5.5 million tokens over the weekend. But yeah, I gave Claude a 98,000 limit. I probably should have thought that through a little bit, but they didn't have their API usage on their website until I was enterprise, so there was no way of knowing. But I was like, free API. But anyways, once we got it actually up and working, we have a webhook entry point using AppWrite, and then that goes to our N8N. So I was able to just execute the full workflow on the back end, and then just debug it based on that, what was going on. It does take a minute. It takes like 12 minutes if you want to run it. And I had to lower Claude's token usage to 20,000 from 98 because, I'm not a sugar daddy or something. But other than that, it should still work pretty well. It just won't have the full market analysis context that I was giving it before of 98,000.
Great. I hope it worth it in the end. Okay, with that, I guess we are done. Any questions from judges? Feels like no? Okay. Then I'm happy to announce that we are going for 10-minute discussion on deciding who will be basically in top 3 winners of today's hackathon. So for all the teams here, please stay in the channel. You may go back to Open Voice to chat with your team members or kind of competitors of this hackathon. And I'm moving all the judges to another channel, so we'll have a little discussion. So see you in 10 minutes.
Have fun.
Thank you.